there's this new article in The Atlantic that's arguing that standardized tests may be more important than many educators thought. So the debate started after the University of California dropped the SAT and ACT requirements during the pandemic. We all remember that happening. Now, some UC faculty members say there's been growing gaps in students' math preparation and worry that colleges have lost an important way to measure academic readiness. So it matters because for years, critics argued that standardized tests were unfair and favored wealthier students. But supporters say that these tests can help identify talented students whose grades alone may not tell you the whole story. So the bigger issue really is that, it isn't really just a debate about the SAT or the ACTs. It's a debate about whether schools are accurately measuring what students know, especially in math.
Yeah.
And then if they get to school in a higher education, are they ready for that, right?
Right. Like if you don't know how to factor and then you start in calculus, how are you going to pass? There's no way. It's not for lack of trying, but if
Mhm.
you're just genuinely not prepared for college, then.
There's just huge gaps. I mean, and
Right.
honestly, also, like, by the way, like, this is not even factoring in the idea and the topic of AI. Like, think about now kids are like leaning on AI so heavily in essays and writing prompts and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, if you get to a class, I guess if you're still using AI, it doesn't matter. But it's like, there are some serious learning gaps that I'm sure are happening every day in the education system. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep, these kids learning at the same level,
Oh, for sure. And I
right?
have to admit that I actually only took the ACT, so I don't
Me too.
is there a written part of the SAT too, like an essay?
I don't know
Because
that.
that's another thing
No.
I've read.
Alex says no.
There's not.
Mm-mm.
Okay, because that's another thing I've heard too from people who
Mm.
work in education. They're saying that like people's essays and stuff might be more well structured and like be more verbose,
Mhm.
but they don't necessarily know how to formulate that argument on their own without using the machine to do it.
Right.
And I think like if people are submitting essays to get into UC Berkeley or whatever, and they're just using chat, even if you are using chat just to help you write it, like, hey, I want to write an essay about my biggest struggle that I've had to overcome.
Mhm.
What are some thoughts that you have? Even if you're using AI to do that, you're still kind of using AI to do that. You're not showing UC Berkeley that you can formulate a structured argument on your
Mhm.
own without the help of a computer. And so I think if you were to bring back some sort of standardized testing, the ACT, you have an essay part of it.
Mhm.
I think that would help them know better what they're getting into. That said, I totally understand from the perspective of like, people who have money and the means can study and prepare for the SAT in a way
Mhm.
that people who don't simply won't be able to. And I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
that's a tough needle to thread.
Yeah, and ACT was so stressful in my high school experience. I'm sure it was the same for you.
Yeah.
Like, I had a tutor,
Me
I
too.
had, like, a hypnotist, an ACT
Oh my God, you
hypnotist.
guys, Teague, you were woo before woo was cool.
I was woo because I was so stressed about getting a great score
I
that
love
I
that.
had
Did
to
it
lay
work?
down with a woman and be like, "I'm gonna get a 32.
Shut up.
I'm gonna get a 32."
Did it work?
I mean, I did pretty good, but, like, I don't know. I mean, look, I think standardized testing is good for some students and not great for others.
Yeah.
I was always kind of in the camp that, like, I think what I can, like, tell you and, like, speak about is a little bit better than what I can, like, answer on a bubble on a test,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I do think, like, if you're not using standardized testing, what are you using as a benchmark to
Yeah.
know if people are ready for college and ready for higher education? I don't know.
Well, and the
So
reality is if you're just looking at grades and essays, like that tells you a partial picture of what the student is about.
mhm,
But it's also like, think about how many people you had read your essays for school or,
totally.
how grades are different wildly district to district. Like, I think
Yeah.
there's a lot more to the picture than just,
What meets the eye.
what meets the eye exactly on a transcript. So,
Yeah.